Hello and welcome back to Let Him Find You. I'm Nicki V, and this week I want to talk to you about work. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I, as you know, always look back as to the time when I was single and waiting or getting myself ready, really ready, for a fabulous man to find me. And I thought about it today because I was coaching a lady today, and then I had an email from somebody as well, and I thought, okay, that's the thing that I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the work that we do, because in this day and age, in 2014, you know, it's very, very rare, although I do have some clients who actually, you know, don't work and they just stay at home, and perhaps they're looking after children, or they just, you know, retired from work or anything. But most of us are doing some form of work or have some sort of business that we are spending time in, whether that's part-time or full-time. So the reason why I thought about it, was talking about it today, was I was with a client who was saying, look, I've really got to the time of my life where actually to be in an intimate relationship is the most important thing for me. I just feel that it's important. It's like, you know, I feel that everything else, you know, I've worked, you know, throughout my working life. This lady's in her late 40s, and she said, I've done something, and I want to do something which doesn't like take up all of my time. And she said, what do you think I should do? And she said that which would be more feminine. And I said, actually, the truth is, I don't believe there is a masculine or feminine job. I mean, you could argue that bricklaying or, I don't know, scaffolding or something is more of a male role, or something that's very, very physical. But actually, I don't believe that's the case. I believe that actually it's how we do the job that's most important. And I also had an email, as I say, from a lady who said to me, who wrote to me today to say that she'd listened to some of our videos, and she's on our course, our complimentary course, and she wrote to me and she said, I'm sort of misunderstanding what you're saying. I must be misunderstanding. She said, because I hear you say that it's all just about my energy, but I get the feeling that you think that there are some roles, you know, like being a lawyer who has to be really, really strong in court and things like that, that this is a masculine role and I shouldn't do it. And I wrote back and said, absolutely not. That's definitely not the message. That's definitely not my belief, and it's not the message that we want to put out. Because it really is going to be about how you do the job, not what the job is. And how you do the job will set your energy and how you live your life, and how you live your life and what energy you live in is going to be directly equal to him finding you. So let me tell you a little bit about my story, where it's about how I went from being very masculine in a role to a very similar role, and being able to do that in a more feminine way. So and you may not know that years ago I was actually the head of a nightclubs company, which was and is a very male dominated business. And so I did my job. I have to admit, you know, I was absolutely, you know, like, don't mess with me, and I just get things done, and I was very kind of in the hire and firing kind of mode. And I did this job in a very masculine way. And to tell you that I was exhausted, stressed, you know, adrenalized, and really striving and pushing and actually quite demanding, kind of going, look, you know, I've got these results, you know, you need to pay me more money, or you need to promote me, or whatever that is. And I did this in a very masculine way. And here's the problem, is I really got some good results. But I sat down one day, and it was like one of those epiphany moments when I went, look, you know, I'm working all the hours God sends, hardly seeing my son, and I was a single mom at the time. And I actually thought to myself, do you know what? I know there must be, something inside me tells me that there must be a different way to do this. There must be a better energy. And I started to learn about masculine and feminine energy. And I started to say to myself, there's a different way. So I put my mind and my priority, as I'm trusting that you are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video, put my mind and my priority to living in my full feminine essence. And I actually moved jobs. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to move jobs before you write in and say, why have I got to move jobs? All you have to do is remember that there was a different way of approaching the role. So what happened is I actually went to a different company. It was a different style. It wasn't so male dominated, which, if I'm honest, made it probably a little bit easier. But actually, I think if I'd have been, you know, in my old energy, I'd have just done exactly the same in another business and I'd just been really masculine and pushing to try and get to the top. But because I'd learned about masculine and feminine energy, what I found that by allowing things to happen rather than pushing, by being non-demanding rather than, if I'm honest, demanding, by being, you know, acknowledging my team, inclusive of other people, and really letting go of the need to control, which I was very much in the directing, controlling, you know, thing in the past. By doing that, a couple of amazing things happened. Number one, the results were even better, you know, by comparison to when I'd been in a company and done it in a very masculine way. Because if you think about it, that's not my natural, you know, my natural essence. It's a learned behavior. What happened? So my results were so much better. And the second thing that happened, which was amazing, was I actually had somebody come to me, you know, quite high up in the company, and he said, "What's fascinating," he said, "is the results of your little division," because I just had a very small division to run. The results of your little division have literally outplayed some of the other divisions, most of the other divisions. And he said, I'm noticing that a lot of people want to come and work with you in your team. And I thought, oh, hallelujah, that is such great feedback, because it reminds me that this is like getting me fantastic results, not only in financial terms, but with the people, but also my energy, the difference in me, the way that I work. I mean, you know, I was working shorter hours, I was allowing things to happen, I wasn't getting so, you know, like demanding with my people. I was just allowing and encouraging them to do well, and we worked as a team instead of me being the leader of the team and the director of the team. All those things, whatever way you want to cut the cake, it was like the opposite behavior. And I got even better results. And guess what? Of course, the other thing that happened is that I started to attract a different kind of guy, and then ultimately, of course, you know, Tony came along and whisked me off my feet, as it were. And when I was talking to the beautiful woman today about that, I said, you know, that allowing word keeps coming into my mind today. It just keeps coming, just allowing things to happen. So instead of her going into her head and worrying about what she needs to decide what to do, which business to have, which niche to have, what job to go for, I said, how would it be if you just allowed, like you're in a space where you're allowing your man to find you instead of out there searching or hunting, as some of the girls called it? How would it be that you allowed messages and signals of how you're meant to live your life in work mode to come to you as well? And she went, oh, that feels like so much easier. It feels like so much more relaxed, and it feels much more at peace within myself. And so then I was talking to Tony about the young lady that had written and said, you know, I really, really feel like, you know, you're saying that, you know, I shouldn't do this job. I should be doing, you know, something else. And saying, absolutely no. And if ever any of you feel that we've had that message, please take from me now that is certainly not what I believe and what Tony believes. And that is that you can do anything you want to do in your feminine essence. You can do anything you want to do and have the bonus, you know, the add-on, the absolute amazing bonus of having a great man find you and actually make your life complete in its entirety rather than just in your work mode. So I hope that, I'm trusting that's been really helpful, because I know that I have quite a lot of questions on how to, you know, for example, how to behave if you work in a very male-dominated business, or if you're have your own business and you really feel like you've got to do everything to make it work. So if you have any questions on that, or you have any comments that you would like to make, or you want to have my assistance on that, please just pop your name in the box and just tell me a little bit about yourself, and I'll be very happy to come back to you within 24 hours or as quickly as I can. So until next week, enjoy, and as I say, just allowing everything, allow those fabulous signals and messages to come to you. So I'll see you next week. Bye bye.